Before we get started, I just wanted to provide a quick update. But for those of you A, don't care, or B, watching retroactively where this won't matter, I will provide a time to which you can skip to in order to miss this completely. But for those of you who are still here, you may have noticed that this video was a week late. Life has gotten the better of me, and quite frankly, I wasn't able to finish it quickly enough. But the other thing about that is that actually this video has been in kind of limbo for longer. It was actually meant to be released 2 videos ago, but I just couldn't get it done in time. There's a thing in here which you'll see that I ended up taking significantly longer than really it should have. Whether or not that was worth it or not, you be the judge. But yeah, I apologise for this video being late. I'll try to make sure next week's is on time. I mean, I should get more time now, because currently, alongside juggling this video, I'm also doing a pantomime, working what is now pretty much a full-time job, even though it's not necessarily... It doesn't have to be a full-time job, but it is at the moment. And, yeah, life's hectic, and I'm struggling to cope. But, provided you see this on Monday, which, if you're not, sorry, yeah, I do apologise. I hope this video was worth the wait. The only thing I think that the longer delay will affect is the fact that if we keep up with the video, sometimes we refer back to earlier, or what's happening currently in the time which we're recording. Up to the point of editing now, we haven't. But assuming this does happen, this will make it even more outdated than what it already was, and kind of seem weird in conjunction with everything else. So that's just something to bear in mind. But with that said, don't know how needed this update video was, but on with the video.
Let me in. Are you my mummy?
The Paternoster gang receive a message about the Doctor from Clarence, a Victorian serial killer. The message? The Doctor has a secret he will take to the grave, and it is found. Can the Doctor and Clara rescue the Paternoster gang from the clutches of the Whispermen, or will the Doctor have to reveal his greatest secret to the Great Intelligence? Let's discuss The Name of the Doctor, which aired on the 18th of May 2013 and was written by Stephen Moffat and directed by Saul Metzstein, or however you pronounce it. Hello and welcome to this Eyes of Harmony podcast review about The Name of the Doctor. The finale to Series 7, kind of Part 2, because, I mean, the splits kind of mess over a season. I don't like splits in a season. It's just not the way that a season's supposed to be. I'm sorry, it's just, it doesn't work. It does not work. It totally takes you out of it. And we can thank
I guess
Series 6 for that. I'm glad with the other side of it, though. I don't want any more splits. It messed up. It really messed up the how the series ran. Completely. I think that actually Series 6 split just because of the 50th, because the BBC were probably like, oh, we can't pay for a full season and the 50th anniversary. So if you don't have a full season in 2012 and you split Series 7 over, 2012 and the beginning of 2013, we'll have enough budget for the 50th. I think that's what happened.
True. Though you'd imagine You'd imagine they'd expect to get their monies back on the 50th, and more so for all the merchandising, because the 50th was a big event.
I don't know.
Don't forget.
Profit. You know, people are weird at the top. But anyway, yes. So this story.
Yeah.
Let's kind of dive into it. So we awesome beginning. I got to say, I really do like the beginning.
I kind of got two minds on this because. Firstly, yes, it's kind of cool to see her in all these different places, all the different time, with all the different doctors.
Yeah.
The other half of me is like, well, half of it looks off.
The only one I don't like is the one where she tells the doctor to choose the TARDIS. I don't like that. I don't like how she was the one who told the doctor to choose the TARDIS that we were in.
That I didn't like. But also...
I always liked it that the doctor chose that TARDIS specifically.
But also, like, in some of the clips, she's almost too clean.
Yeah.
You know, you see the doctor running past in somewhat grainy footage, and you see her, it's like modern, and it's like... I mean, in some things it did make attempts. Like, you see her behind the Fourth Doctor, and that kind of looks okay. But you see her, like, whereas Bessie's driving past, or... Especially when the second Doctor's running by.
I think they should have used... stand-ins like they did for Colin Baker.
Yeah.
That really worked.
That worked. Also, and that for the ending. And for the ending.
The ending as well. Yes.
Because you don't really see it, well, other than perhaps
I don't get why they didn't add her into any 9th or 10th Doctor, though. Because she would have looked more realistic in there.
That is a bit odd, but I guess just to condense it down for an intro, they're just going for the
I guess so,
classics.
But I think
they probably should have, especially considering...
But I mean, I really liked it, especially the beginning, where like they're just in this, workshop, and it's like, who would steal a faulty TARDIS? And you're like, what?
Yeah.
Whoa! And it zooms out of this, da, 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 da. Great piece of music, love that bit.
Yeah, and it's cool to see the moment where they do leave him and Susan.
Yeah. And I liked finally seeing the designs of what the TARDIS kind of looks like with no camouflage, just a kind of circular thing. I like that. That was nice. And then they did bring that back in Hellbent, which was a nice kind of thing. I don't like Hellbent, but it was nice. So yeah, very, very cool beginning. Really kind of, but it set the action up. It was like, okay, epic, awesome, and then it cut.
But you already, I mean...
And it slowed down massively. The pacing in this one's off. It gets you like all excited, like, oh my god, look at all these classic Doctors, Gallifrey, and you're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, and then it's yeah. Thank you very much for that.
Just came short.
I hope you enjoyed that, guys. But anyway, yes.
Premature.
So it starts with Vastra and Jenny gonna see Clarence. Now, why Clarence? What is so special about this guy?
I guess we'll briefly mention the short prequel where he was sitting around the Whispermen and stuff.
That needed to be in this episode. Without that, it makes it even more confusing. Like, how does he memorize the instructions that the Whispermen gave him? Like all that. I'm pretty sure.
I mean, he briefly says, "I hear whispers," but like,
it's like that was
intense, so vague.
Yeah, that was some intense, stuff that went on. And still, why Clarence? What did he do? I mean, yes, I guess the only reason I can see it is the Whispermen couldn't go straight to Vastra because they know it was a trap, and they needed her to go into the dream state so that she'd be easy to kidnap. That's the only thing I get of it.
There are other ways to kidnap people other than
then the message wouldn't have got to the Doctor.
How wouldn't it have got to the Doctor?
Because Clara wouldn't have been in the dream thing to find out about it, to then tell the Doctor.
But then you.
But I don't know why they didn't.
Well, then why don't they just go to Clara?
That's true.
They could have just gone directly to Clara.
I guess it wasn't as intense. I don't know.
In fact, to be honest, having Vastra, Jenny and Strax there is a disadvantage to them in their cause.
So yeah, I mean, so... I like the bit actually when he's in Glasgow. Strax and he dives through the...
Oh yeah.
Strax is better on rewatching when you're not watching a series full through. Because it's less intense.
Yeah.
Strax was way too intense during season... 6 and 7. There was too much of him.
Yes.
In start of series 8, there was too much. too much of him.
Yeah, it was
Like,
too much.
if they had a story with him in it now, I would be okay with it because we had a break. You know, we've had 2 years. You know, last time we saw him was 2014.
I kind of want a story to kind of tie up.
Yeah, because they kind of left them.
Well, they kind of left them, and also because, well, Drax is a Sontaran, and he's helping the Doctor. Surely they're not happy about that.
Yeah, they could be a really cool Sontaran story.
The Sontarans going after Strax for betraying the Sontarans.
Yeah.
Helping their biggest enemy. That would be a really interesting story. But they never want to take risks with them. Every time they're on screen, they're just there, they appear, and then at the end of the episode, they turn out the exact same.
Yeah.
Like...
So it goes on. So Clara gets the letter. Yeah. Why include the candle if you know that you've laced the paper anyway?
That was stupid!
What is the point?
That was utterly pointless. I was like, what was the...
You just lace the paper, then just say you've laced it.
What was the entire point? Also, I gotta say, I don't entirely see what the point in going into the call in the first place was, just because they said Doctor. The guy just said Doctor.
No. He says the message.
No, the Doctor's secret.
Yeah, and he'll go to the grave, and he gives them the coordinates. So it is important. Thing I don't like is my general thoughts here are: so if time travel's always been possible in dreams, why didn't Time Lords develop technology around that?
That's true.
Like it just.
Also, it's kind of bizarre. How do you home in on people? How do you dream across time travel as well?
Yeah,
And like, as I said, what if somebody else fell? Like, I'm sure lots of people are unconscious at the same time. How do they determine who does and doesn't come into the call? How do you determine that? What if Jim from down the road turns up in the call? Yeah. What then?
That would have been a hilarious moment.
So glad you could make it.
Where the fuck am I? I knew I shouldn't have had those fucking mushrooms.
Exactly where you were, but sleeping.
Time travel has always been possible in dreams. We are awaiting only one more participant.
Oh no. Not the one with a gigantic head.
It's his hat, not his head, you fucking moron. Wait. Were you sleeping in that? That's a little weird, Conrad. A little tiny bit weird.
That's a secret to everybody.
Ah, perhaps you two haven't met.
Of course we've met. We podcast together, you numpty.
Did you even mean to invite us?
Have you got a darker green?
Is that some sort of skin condition?
Well, I've heard about that. Although, I thought you could only get that from maggots.
Is she a maggot lady?
I'm pretty sure she's a Silurian. Though, where's her third eye?
Oh, it's a she. I mean, I wasn't sure to start with.
Well, neither did I.
Awkward.
Perhaps we should get down to the business at hand.
That might be good, dear, yes.
Fuck! Ow! Fuck it! Why would you throw sand in my eye?
Why the hell would you even do that?
What do you even want from us, you maggot woman?
We don't know. It's a secret.
Really? So, you did all this? For no reason then?
If you're still entertaining the idea that you're an exception to this rule, ask yourself one question. What is his name?
It's Conrad. We covered this if you just want to rewind like fucking half a minute.
Look, there must be something we can say to go back to our podcasting. Or at least out of this awkward conversation.
One word only.
Wubba.
Cheese, baguettes, Zelda, Valiants, 3DS,
anal,
cheese,
prostate,
again,
something, knees, hair,
thing,
tube,
stuff,
printer,
blah de blah de blah de blah.
Bag, man, flan,
and
digestives, chocolate.
Mum, sorry, I just realised I forgot to lock the door.
So you mean just anybody can walk in here? That's pretty dumb.
Someone's broken in.
You guys really need to get Dream Blocker.
Someone's with us. I can hear them.
Who is it?
I
I have arrived.
Oh, for Christ's sake. Not you. This isn't even a Dalek story.
Right, screw this. I'm done. We need to wake up.
Let's just get the fuck out of here. Maybe this will work.
So, how are you guys? Fuck this.
We should do that.
Oh my
We
God.
should do that. Just cut this bit out, okay? But we should do that. That should be our skit. We should just cut it in here, okay? Just us appearing in the call with them. That would be hilarious. But yeah, so yeah, we hope you enjoyed that. Yeah, us in the call.
That was spontaneous.
That was really spontaneous. But yeah, we'll be there. We were in it. That was the extended cut. They decided to cut that scene from the television broadcast.
Wonder why.
Time constraints. That's all it was. But anyway, yeah. So Jenny dies. Now I thought when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh my god, have they actually killed her?" Because that was a really good moment. That was like there was one bit which ruined it, but it was really good. Like how she was like, "Mom, I think I've been murdered." Like everybody was like, "Oh shit!" Like that was really cool. Really cool moment how she just fades away. But frickin' Strax, like, why did he have to say like stay with us, boy? Like that wasn't a time for a Sontaran joke. That really pissed me off. It really broke the moment. It's like when Kara would have been dying in Face the Raven, and Strax just going, "Stop screaming, boy!" It would have ruined the moment. It really did. And then not having Jenny die ruined it even more.
Yeah, no, that was stupid. Like, how? You presume it took a little bit to get them to Trenzlaw. If, say, she was on the way to dying at that point, how do you get her to survive after that amount of time with just a simple bolt of electricity? Makes no blimmin' sense. She would have died.
She should have. It would have made the threat way more, better.
Yes,
anyway, so we get back. So back to reality. Oh yeah, River Song's inclusion in this story, I say, is pretty pointless.
No, well, actually,
I like her in it. I like her in it.
Actually, upon the initial watch, it's actually a pretty nice. Well, I guess we'll talk about this bit a little bit more later, but it's actually a really nice send-off. A nice way to tie things up from the end of the sides of the library.
Yeah, because the last time we saw her was the Angels Take Manhattan, which didn't finish it off.
So, this was the way they. I don't know if this was the right time to do it, but this was a nice way to kind of conclude it all, to finish River's story arc.
Then Husbands of River Song.
Yeah, no, this is why. In fact, we cancelled this podcast, but we had initially recorded the podcast questioning whether or not River Song should have come back, because this was a really kind of perfect way to end the character's arc. I may have my ups and downs with the character in general, but this was a nice way to finish it off. So bringing her back was something where I was like,
it kind of took away from this story.
Yes.
But I really enjoy Husbands of River Song, it's all forgiven.
Yeah, it's all forgiven because of that, but it does make this kind of whole goodbye kind of thing kind of pointless to us now. It takes away from this episode. It boosted Husbands of River Song. It made that a great story, but it made this story even more redundant than it already was.
Yeah, so get back to normal time. There's Matt Smith playing. I love that, the Blind Man's
Oh, yeah, no, that was cool. I like that. I like that.
The little Daleks. But then I really love the change. Suddenly snaps to quite and he's just brooding, and his breakdown. Really good moment. I love that.
Yeah, no, that's really nice.
And then he gets back to the TARDIS, and then he's okay again. But he had that small breakdown.
Yeah,
really love that.
Yeah, no,
really
love
that.
Acting was great. That one.
I think Matt Smith's acting actually throughout his 3 series just improved.
Yes,
it really did. He got so much stronger in the role, and his performance is really solid.
When he first started, he was a
you can tell he wasn't completely comfortable.
He was a small-time actor. He'd appeared in a few supporting
roles,
roles in a few things, but he was no leading actor at that point. And then he was thrown into the role to become one.
Yeah.
And initially, he did a pretty good job in 11th Hour for what it was worth, but you could tell it was a bit, it wasn't entirely.
He was messing around with it, yeah.
By
kind of Series 6, kind of, yeah.
Yeah,
I think,
actually,
the start of A Christmas Carol, I think, is quite solid.
when he got to around Christmas Carol, yeah, I'd say it kind of started to.
It clicked, and he kind of knew where he was going with it. But yeah, a very, very strong performance in this, and that breakdown was very good. One thing, so you know that he links Clara telepathically to the TARDIS by doing the injectee thingamajig.
Yeah.
Like, why didn't you just use the spongy stuff on the TARDIS, which they use later on, like in Listen? You know, I mean, had they not decided that part of the TARDIS console was for that? Because I mean, come on, Bill Hartnell back in the day learnt what every button did. So you know,
go on.
Why can't you writers decide it?
One thing I'll say about Clara, and this happens a couple of times actually, is that they've kind of forced in the Clara catchphrases.
Oh my god, the
Souffle Girl! Oh my
annoying.
gosh, that was ugh.
Like, I will be Souffle Girl. And it's like, but did she ever call you Souffle Girl? Did she ever call herself Souffle Girl? No. You just randomly said it. Like, I've actually got that written down here. It's so forced.
And then like, I guess this is at the
boys.
ending, but like, and then she, at the end, it's like, run you clever boy. And like,
but
okay,
he's lying on the floor dying here. It's not going to run anywhere.
That didn't make sense in context. I get it. It felt kind of forced. Like, oh, you thrown all the catchphrases because she's might die, but she might.
This is how it is. But So then they decided to go to Trenzalore. Really cool scene. Love it in the TARDIS with all the explosions. That was a really cool moment. But the problem is that is the biggest action scene.
Yes,
that is the biggest action.
It's the only
trip
thing.
to Trenzalore, and then all the action stops. That is it. Goodbye. No more explosions. This is a series finale. That needed to be near the end. Like that needed to be the height of like the rescue. You know, like that. That was exciting.
One thing I'll say in general in this episode, that is one of the cooler like explosions and stuff. But like the general visual design is pretty good in the story.
I found it a bit too gloomy and dark. I was having problems seeing it because I was watching it in kind of a lit room. I actually had to close my blinds just to actually kind of see it. But I did like the design of Trenzalore.
Yeah, it's kind of a dark, gloomy place with like which is kind of fitting for like kind of a.
My question is how is Trenzalore? How does this fit in the timelines? Because he didn't die anymore. So what happened?
Well, no, Trenzalore was always his place of death.
Yeah.
What was happening was that the timeline, basically, so this is where he dies ultimately. What the Great Intelligence did was go into his timeline and mess it up.
No, I'm talking about later on in Time of the Doctor.
Oh, in Time of the Doctor.
What happens after that? Did the Time Lords use enough like temporal, like time stuff to fix it up?
I'm going to presume.
Have they kind of fixed the problem, like a loop or something, and they go, well, hey, and they're on a new timeline?
Or perhaps he's still going to die at Trenzalore eventually. Sometime after he becomes a creator.
He's got to still have that design TARDIS though, because that's the one that they go in the control room of. So
yeah, but
the 13th Doctor is the last. But yeah, I mean, I like the idea of when Time Lords die, they leave that kind of tear.
That is a really kind of interesting idea to have like kind of the memories kind of be in the middle.
My big nitpick of this one, not even a nitpick, it's a big problem, the Whispermen.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
First off, the designs are nothing special. They are like...
I like the designs, but they're nothing special.
No, nothing at all. Like, they're not even that interesting. They're just like...
Yeah.
Like, they're just... Like, they serve the same...
It's like they tried to do the Mondasian Cybermen.
They serve the same purpose as the... what were they... The things from Rings Act 10.
Oh, those, yeah.
The same purpose as those, and the same purpose as the Silence, really. Those three are kind of interchangeable between each other, really. Like, they do slightly different things, but like they're kind of so functionally similar.
Do you know what would have been cool?
Just lackeys.
If they'd appeared throughout Series 7 Part 2. If they'd been in the background loads of times, there would have been at least this build-up. You know? But just appear in the final episode... And then never be used again.
Yeah, that's bad.
That annoys me a lot.
But you know, what makes it even worse is because, of course, the main person is the Great Intelligence. This could so easily have been the Yetis. Like, literally, they could have they could have swapped, because it's a great intelligence, they could have swapped them out with Yetis, and there would literally be no difference, and it'd be nice fan service. Like, there was literally no reason not to have the Yetis there.
I should have had Yetis.
Because the Whispermen, as it kind of says in the prequel, they're basically the lackeys to the Great Intelligence. But that's what the Yetis were.
Yeah.
Why not just use the Yetis? It would just be nice fan service.
I still don't get why they still haven't brought back the Yetis. Like, seriously.
Well, because they killed off the Great Intelligence here.
Nah, yeah, but the thing is he split himself, didn't he?
No, they explicitly...
Yeah, but the Snowman is a prequel to Web of Fear and The Abominable Snowman. That is set before it all, because remember he shows them the picture of the underground and they have no recollection of what that is. So it's set before. I think then the name of the Doctor happens next, and he goes into the timeline and he splits, because he split into a million pieces, didn't he? So there's actually still a million great intelligences out there, and if Clara hadn't... Obviously Clara missed two of them, because they appeared in the Web of Fear and the Abominable Snowman.
And I guess we'll get onto this, but
so
that is
they could
kind
still
of...
return.
I mean, I'll talk about how Clara fits into all of this, but...
It's still weak. Yeah.
Well, I mean, okay, I won't get into that now. I won't get into it quite yet.
I mean, we still got
I have serious issues with how that all kind of concludes, but...
So we got... I just don't like the Whispermen, how they just walk. It's like they're running away from these walking creatures. I don't get...
They're entirely useless. As I said, they should have just used Yeti. Really, they should have...
The thing is, I wouldn't have wanted Yeti in such a mess story like this.
But
if I had a story about Yetis, I want it to be about Yetis, you know? Not about the Doctor.
It's true, but that could have come later. They reintroduced them into the series,
To be honest,
and then
they could have actually just used Ood.
It's like the Zygons. They introduced them in Day of the Doctor. They're a bit time player, and then they properly introduced them later on. They could have done it with Yetis here. Even if the story isn't so great, reintroducing them alone gives them a foothold to give them like the full story that they so desperately should have.
That definitely should have happened. It's just... I don't know, they literally could have used Ood in the place of the Whispermen.
Yeah.
Literally,
they wouldn't...
walked,
I'm not sure it makes much sense to have them with the Great Intelligence.
Great Intelligence takes them over, their brainwaves are low level. You could make up some stuff. It's
use,
science fiction.
You can use pretty much anything, but the Whispermen just aren't memorable. That's
Not
really
at all.
the issue.
Yeah, they're in our title sequence.
Yeah, that's true. But that's just yeah.
Irony. There we go.
Yeah. We'll call it. We'll just pretend it's that. Don't tell anyone.
But I don't know. But yeah, so they go through the grave. I love the bit when River's talking and actually they walk through with her. That was quite a good jump scare.
Yeah,
that was quite a
really
good moment.
nice.
That was a nice.
Actually, I have to actually, because we briefly talked about River Song in general earlier, but how did she get out of the library?
Mental power.
Because, like, at the end of the library, they showed her kind of being happy, kind of sort of forgetting about the real world, but not really, having her own, like, now little life with, like, children and stuff. Like, I'd presumed when you end up being saved in the library, what happens is that you basically just live a life. You don't really...
Well, she can't die ever.
Yeah, you don't really get
Actually, I wonder, would the computer delete you afterwards? But I think that's a discussion for when we talk about it. Like, would you die and then your code gets deleted?
Well, I mean, depends on what mood Cal's in.
Yeah, I guess the Doctor wouldn't make that happen. But anyway, yes. So, yeah, I like that jump scare when they come through. But then they're walking through the TARDIS, yeah, and then suddenly it's you know, I'm remembering Journey to the Centre of the TARDIS, that not very good story, which literally adds nothing to the plot.
Spontaneously.
It literally adds nothing to the plot, her remembering that stuff. Nothing at all. And then they get back. There's a nice moment when the Doctor actually goes Jenny. Like, you know, there's a really nice group shot of them. I quite like that shot, really. It's like
when they
a
kind
cool
of
gang
together.
Like, I do like that. But they still should have killed Jenny. Also, Vastra's really kind of horrible to Strax when he's trying to save her. She's like, save her, I'll cut you into little pieces. It's like, get off me, woman.
It's a bit odd. That was an odd moment.
Yeah, I mean, opening the TARDIS...
I mean, I'll say, sorry.
Yeah.
I guess we've briefly touched on the Great Intelligence, but, like, Richard E. Grant is a great actor, and actually, I think here he does better than he did in The Snowman.
Yeah, but still wasted.
But he's completely wasted. Like, you see him in other stuff, and even, like, in Screaming the Shulker, he is, like, a really talented actor.
Range.
In fact, in some ways, I really am sad that he wasn't the Doctor. I am.
Yeah.
He would have been really great as a full-on Doctor. Like, you can see that. He has everything needed.
Yeah.
He's a great actor. So it's a shame that they use him for such a monotone kind of character like...
Richard E. Grant for the 13th.
I'd be
would
okay
happy.
with that,
Or
but...
at least 14th. I'd like him to be it, though. I think he's got the style and the mood, which could really, really work.
Definitely.
Go a bit younger again and go a bit older again, you know. But yeah, I'd say definitely wasted potential. But I mean, they could still bring back the Great Intelligence if they want to, and they can still use Richard E. Grant if they want to. It's all up to the writers.
Well, hang on.
really.
Who was the voice in Snowman?
Oh, it was Ian McKellen.
It was Ian McKellen. Yeah. I don't know if because in future, presumably if they were going to bring the Great Intelligence back, I presume they'd bring him back to being the Orbs because that's the more iconic
they
designs.
should do it. But I mean, they could still use Richard E. Grant's voice, I guess.
They could either use him or I know.
Or at least have a big reveal and then it's suddenly there and it's Richard E. Grant. I know they could do something with that. I think they should. I mean, Chris Chibnall's a fan of Who. I think he definitely likes the Yeti, so we'll see. We will see.
Yeah,
I hope in his first season he brings back at least one classic, which isn't Daleks or Cybermen.
Yeah,
no, I think I want him to bring back a one which hasn't been brought back yet.
Which is like beginning to wear thin in terms of
the ones they can choose from. Yeah.
Yeah, no, there isn't a lot more memorable villains like that really stand out.
The three which I could choose from are Yeti, the Wirren, and the Mara. All three of those could work.
Yeah. And
the Rani actually. Rani would work.
Rani would work.
As Gallifrey's back. Anything else? I don't know really.
I mean,
technically, Axons if you.
Axons, yeah, if they did a better story of them, yeah, I'd agree.
Omega, you could actually.
Yeah, no, Omega has been long rumored. I would be happy to see him back.
I don't want Sutek.
No.
Sutek, I think, should just
It should remain.
Yeah.
That story was good enough on its own that it does not need a continuation.
But yeah, I mean, yeah. But anyway, we're getting a bit off. But yeah, so, I mean, at one point, Richard E. Grant calls it the Tomb of the Doctor. That would have been a way better name for this story.
Yeah, no, that
sounds way cooler.
The name of the Doctor, like, that didn't even come into it, really, at all.
No, except when we had to say his name to open the door, and then River said it. But the thing is, I thought we established that River didn't know it. He said in her ear, "Look in my eye" at the wedding.
No. In Science of the Library.
Yeah, but then when did he tell her? What point did he tell her? There's never been an on-screen moment where he actually told her.
No, there wasn't. I mean, wasn't there those, short stories that they did on like the website or something?
Yeah, it stood there. That didn't cover it. It only covered the bit when they were going to the Twin Towers of Beryllia or whatever. And basically then they copped out of that one because Husbands of River song happened.
So that completely was non-canon then?
No, it's canon because all they did was, you chickened out at the last moment, basically, is what the Doctor did.
Oh.
He just went, nope. Yeah.
But yeah,
It took 12 to have the balls to do it. But, which I think feels about right, actually. That kind of felt right. I never would
actually,
think
I feel
that
kind of fitting of the character, more mature and more willing to face these responsibilities.
I mean, he just lost Clara, so it was kind of like...
Well, he doesn't know that he lost Clara.
Well, he knows that he lost her, he just doesn't remember what she looks like or much about her. Because he knows of her, because if he tells her the entire story in the cafe, he just has no idea what she looks like. So he can't see her at all, but he knows that she was there. Which, yeah. Yeah, not too bad. But yeah, so they get in the TARDIS set, and then it's a very long dialogue scene. Now, I do like the Great Intelligence's plan. Killing the Doctor at every moment in time is pretty epic. That is pretty epic. Like, I really do like that. And, you know, that was really cool. And,
that's a cool
when
concept.
They said, now he's dying at Andrew Vazani, and, you know, the Dalek Asylum, and so on, so on, so on.
Well, I don't know why the Dalek Asylum in particular
Where it had to trigger Clara going, "Oh, you've seen me before." And in London, you know. Yeah, so, I mean, and I do like how it wrapped up, and that's how Clara got everywhere. I thought that was pretty smart. But it kind of annoys me as well. Because that means Clara is in every single episode of Doctor Who I've ever watched. At some point.
I wouldn't say
Is
everyone.
what they're saying. No,
But like she's existed.
Yeah. Well, it's like, because literally, the Great Intelligence said, and we got to take from what he said, every victory is a loss. Turn out every friendship sour. Yeah. I do like how Jenny disappears. She dies. And Strax then turns evil. Like, I do like that.
Yeah, that's.
But then why is Vastra still there?
Yeah, that's
because she should be in the underground killing
that's
people.
True.
That's
what
she
true
was
as
doing.
well. That is true as well.
She should be back on Earth. It should have just been Clara.
Well, I mean, because presumably because she hadn't been killed.
I don't know. I think it's just a bit of a plot hole.
I mean, I think they because I think they stay in the same location, but it's just that everything that happened up to that point was kind of altered, which is kind of weird since they shouldn't now be there because Jenny had.
Yeah,
no, I have a pretty major issue with like how does Clara stop the Great Intelligence?
Yeah,
how?
There's a really funny moment. Okay, this is the one which really made me laugh when Richard E. Grant just watches the Doctor driving away in the car. What victory or loss did he cause there? What did he do? Did he like remove a stop sign so the Doctor just drove in the bush? I could just see him like turning and
what was the episode? Oh, there was one episode where the Doctor was trying to get to somewhere in Bessie, and then the time was wrong.
Damon's. Yeah, it was like that. Haha, he went the wrong way. It just made me laugh. It's like, what are you doing there? You're literally not like doing anything.
But I mean, how does Clara stop the Great Intelligence?
She
how?
She every time he's in frame, she just rugby tackles him.
But how does she know to do that if she's a completely kind of a different person every time?
Like, what did Richard E. Grant do when the Doctor was stuck over the edge in Dragonfire? Did he just unhitch the umbrella or something? It just makes you really laugh, thinking like what he did in each one just to make the Doctor fail. Because I mean, he literally just watches him drive away. Like, what are you doing there? And like, how did he turn friendship sour? Did he go, psst, Sarah Jane, the Doctor called you really fat?
And like, yeah, they showed the Dragonfly clip of Clara going up and shouting "Doctor" as the Doctor looks to her. But again, how does that stop anything?
Well, no, because she does say, and he never saw me. Well, nearly never, and it was only the Matt Smith one which paid attention. But like,
and I guess the John Pertwee one kind of flickered over to the windscreen.
Yeah,
but like. I mean, but how does Clara stop the Great Intelligence?
She rugby tackles him.
But how does she know to do that?
Yeah, see, that is my problem. How does she know about the Doctor in every single one?
Because she doesn't know.
Because she doesn't know about him. Yeah.
She doesn't know about him.
Because I'm born to know I need to save a Doctor, but no, you don't.
She doesn't know about him.
If she did at the very start, she'd be like, "Doctor, I know who you are and everything," and blah 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 blah.
But I don't know why I know who you are.
Yeah, they should have played that, and yeah, that is annoying. I like how they wrapped it up, but they didn't write it very well. On paper, it's a good idea. That's how she got there, and it makes sense. It's pretty good.
They're going into Doctor's trying to at many moments.
Yeah, and that's it makes sense.
But also, like, just in general, I do have an issue with them basically revolving the entire Doctor universe around Clara.
Yeah, well, see, that I would have been okay with if they just stuck to that. Yeah. But it's later on how in Listen and in Day of the Doctor. I mean, Day of the Doctor's fine. I mean, she didn't do too much, but it was still a lot of, like, Clara told you not to do the war, so the Doctor then decided, like, it was still Clara. So yeah, and then Series 8, it was all about Clara and Hell-Bent.
I think because she becomes the most important person in the universe, they kind of wrote that in terms of her ego as well, and that kind of made everything...
Just made her a bit of a dick.
Yeah, made her
that's why I don't really like Clara as a character. Actress Jenna Coleman does amazing, but...
I like Clara pre this.
Yeah, no. Series 7 Part 2, she's good. And then she becomes a complete arsehole. So egotistical.
Yeah, no, it all falls apart here. Like, it really does. Like, it's frustrating.
And I mean,
like, again, they never bring back a lot of these concepts. Clara...
They should have met enough of Clara. There should have been
That's what I thought they were going for in Hell-Bent. At the beginning, when she was talking to the Clara at the bar, I presumed that was another incarnation of Clara.
What everybody thought. Yeah.
And, like... The fact that it wasn't, like, okay, you know, it threw everyone expectations, but not in a good way. Like, it would have been cooler if...
Yeah,
no. it wasn't in a good way. Like, and they probably won't revisit this ever again because Clara's again.
Well, annoyingly, she can return because she's in that class with me.
Yeah, she
and
can.
Stuck as a diner. Like, oh my god.
She can return at any point. In that,
imagine trying to park the diner though. It's stuck as a diner. Okay, imagine they're trying to park that in a cupboard.
Yeah,
an entire American diner. It doesn't work.
Also, I have to question how much of the times that she saved the doctor does Clara remember? Because if she knows everything about the Doctor's past and the Doctor's future...
Yeah, exactly.
She knows everything that's going to happen. So presumably she already knew everything that's going to happen to her. Yet she doesn't seem to know everything that's going to happen to her.
Well, time snaps back. You know, use their Doctor logic. It does. No, but my nitpick is how does she not know the War Doctor? That timeline was every single moment in his life. And, you know, Great Intelligence was ruining everything. So at some point in the Time War, Richard E. Grant would have been there. You know, Clara would have met the War Doctor. So, straight up, she would have. You can't dodge that. Because, I mean, the way they made it in Night of the Doctor, the War Doctor was young when he regenerated, and he became old. That was a big part of his life, those years. He was fighting for at least 150-something years in that body. You know, he became old in that body.
Yeah.
Clara would have met him. I did like that end bit, though, with all the Doctors running past her. That was very cool.
Yeah, and again, like, you know, the Doctor explains it that bit as like, oh, there's one body I don't talk about, or there's one thing that's kind of off limits, as it were. But how do you control that if you're dead? How do you stop Clara from being to the War Doctor? How do you can't control that. If you can't control the Great Intelligence from getting to the rest of your memories, or Clara from getting to the rest of your memories, how can you just prevent this one specific moment from not being there? Like, that doesn't make any sense.
Yeah.
It's so full of holes, this episode. It's like a poorly made cheese. It's just so filled with holes and doesn't taste very good. And
it doesn't.
Like, it could have at one point, it had potential to be a good cheese.
If they'd killed Jenny, and they just kind of, if Moffat, I think Moffat just needed to take a look at it a bit more and just try and understand it more. I think he writes episodes too separately.
Yeah.
I think he needs to look at all the episodes he's writing and try and connect them all.
I think it's more that... Actually, it's kind of the opposite. He tries to write a story not to be a good story, but to be part of an arc.
Yeah, no, but I mean, he needs to first figure out the entire arc before even writing a story.
Yeah, that's true. I think a lot of it is improvised, I reckon.
Yeah, I don't know.
Also, I have to say, this is going a little bit back, but... The Great Intelligence, before he steps into the stream, the Doctor tells them to stop him.
They just stand there.
And he suddenly walks into the stream as nobody stops him.
Yeah, it's like Vastra could have literally just...
dived on him, at any point. Or
I mean,
Clara.
Yeah.
Anybody. But no, just suddenly walks in, steps in.
Yeah. Also, what happens, like, how did the Doctor... I mean, I must say, as a prequel to the 50th, it is good. But as a series finale, it is rubbish.
Yes.
Take into account that this is Matt Smith's final season. And this is the finale. Where's the epicness?
Yeah,
where is this
story
big thing? This is,
The story itself, it falls flat. And you say it's good setup for the 50th.
There's
I'd say
of fan service.
The last 5 minutes
the first 30
setup.
seconds are the last 5 minutes.
Yes.
There's nice fan service in there, and I do appreciate that. I really did appreciate that when I watched it. I did think they were very cool. I remember watching that first sequence over and over again. I really did love that. Especially the music as well. That was really cool. But it didn't work as a series finale. As if this had aired the week before the 50th anniversary, it would have been a lot better, because then the 50th anniversary would have been the season finale. Mm-hmm. Then it would have worked completely.
Yes.
But then that was the last thing we saw. You know? It to me, like the wedding of River Song is not a season finale.
No.
It's not epic enough. I'm sorry, you need two-parters. As a season finale, like, straight up, you just need them. Because you can't make a big threat in 45 minutes.
No.
Not a really big one. You can have good stories, like Flatline, as we've already spoken about in this batch.
Earlier on, yeah.
You can get good threats, but you can't make the biggest ones in a single.
Yeah, nah, I
Except
agree.
there's only rare moments like the Weeping Angels, really rare moments. But usually you cannot make anything. Imagine if they brought back the Master in a 145-minute episode, and that was it. That was the season finale. Imagine if they did the Last of the Time Lords, Utopia, and all that mixed into one 45-minute episode as the finale.
That would have been a mess.
That would have sucked.
That would have been the mess.
Imagine Doomsday and Army of Ghosts only being 45 minutes. That would have sucked.
Well, you would
We would have lost a lot.
You would. I mean, if you just cut out a lot of the Rose crying parts, I think it probably.
Okay,
would
yeah.
have-
But like, okay, Parting of the Ways and Bad Wolf. If you'd cut out the build-up,
Yeah,
because
nah, it wouldn't have
yeah,
worked.
it just doesn't work. 45 minutes as a finale. Whose idea was that? Whose idea was this?
Moffat.
Yeah, basically.
I have to say, actually, although we've questioned entirely about Clara, jumping into the stream and all that. Actually, I know because of the 50th. I mean, this would have been the case, but this actually would have been an interesting way to write Clara out.
Yeah,
Get her there and then. That would have been interesting. I know they wouldn't have done that. There's no chance. But actually, because there were a few really good, perfect moments to write Clara out before they broke Clara out.
End of the finale where she walked away from the TARDIS, then Last Christmas. I think they should have stuck with the freaking old Clara. That was perfect.
Clara was perfect.
That made me go, whoa, oh my
That
god.
was
and then it was a dream, and it was like, fuck you, series.
We'll get to that.
But
one.
yeah. The Great Intelligence mentions like the Doctor future names that he's going to be called. So he has Storm, which everybody already knows. He does Valiard, which is pretty cool. I think they should bring back the Valiard. That's something else they could definitely bring back. Valiard.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty easy to between. What was it?
Though I don't think that's exactly the most
memorable.
high.
But I think that if they have the right story for him, they could do it. Black Guardian, they could do actually
they
bring
could.
that back. But anyway, yeah. And then they do Beast. The Beast was one of the names that he gets called. I'd quite like them just to take that in at one point. To be called The Beast by someone. At some point.
That would be interesting. I wonder what the context would be.
I don't know.
Up to you, writers. Christian Moore. That would be an interesting
let's fill up
setup.
this plot hole.
Yeah. I guess the last few moments, because we mentioned the river, like how this was a perfect close for her. But so the Doctor apparently knew that she was there the entire time.
Yes.
Which, first off, doesn't really make sense when he was going for the grave
Grave,
earlier.
yeah.
I mean, he
would
wouldn't
have
be able to
heard
see
it.
that.
Yeah.
And second off, how does he stop her slap if she's not really there?
Mental powers.
But how? It would just go
I know.
straight through.
It's romantic. You're just not supposed to question it.
I did like the line about how awkward it would have been to
Yeah.
everybody else. I think, yeah.
God knows how that looked. And they're all there like, okay, it's gone crazy.
Yeah,
But I mean, they would have had a good idea on who he was talking to, let's be honest. I mean, that must have been so weird, because they would have just seen him grab something.
yeah.
Yeah. But, I mean,
is he spotting a fly?
there were some nice moments in it,
Yes.
but just a bit of a mess. So
I guess we'll just talk about the ending quickly, the very ending. Because the
with
Doctor
the
goes in
Conrad,
and saves.
yeah.
And, I kind of liked how, I mean,
liked
the
what
environment
the
wasn't the
Doctor's
most
about.
interesting, but the fact that the Doctor's all running past,
yeah.
that was kind of
Very,
a cool
very cool.
moment. You could,
I like how they actually showed Colin Baker twice in this episode. It was nice that they represented the Sixth Doctor, who is usually quite
a bit more
knocked
ignored.
away.
Ignored.
I'm glad that does the 10th Doctor appear in that moment? I think
Yeah.
he does.
Yes.
And 9th. I liked
And
because they
9th.
didn't appear at the very start. It was nice to at least have them later on. Tom Baker obviously appears, and Peter Davison.
Now, my one question is that how does John Hurt's Doctor manage to interact with them when all the other Doctors just kind of run past and ignore?
Because they're like, oh, fucking Clara,
Bitch. Oh gosh.
your egos are, making the show all about you.
But no,
I don't know.
It was a great stinger though. The reveal of him as the Doctor.
Oh yeah, it was good.
Because I know. Well, I think some of us had managed to figure out just what he was going to be. I think there was a decent amount of people that didn't.
Yeah.
And that stinger must have been quite effective. Because there was rumors going around that he was some form of the Doctor, but was
That
he
is
more
the only one I'd seen.
Was he
was
more
some
like?
form.
Was he more like say
like a parallel dimension.
Yeah, something like that.
Or like his father was something I was thinking. Like, maybe they were going to do something like that. Or the Doctor's grandfather. I was thinking though, I didn't think he would actually be the Doctor. So that stinger did actually quite get me. I was like, whoa, okay.
I mean, I think I'd kind of realised it by that point because, like, I think there were
I was staying away from spoilers. Like,
I mean, I generally was for the 50th. I generally was for the 50th, but I caught that because there was an article on Doctor TV talking about how is the former Doctor, and then I read somewhere about like rumours of it being about the Time War, and the fact that I think by that point it had already been announced that Christopher Eccleston wasn't going to be in there. So I kind of thought, well, I guess he's probably just replacing Christopher Eccleston and will probably play that role.
Yeah.
I kind of figured it out, but like...
See, my thoughts are always, if Christopher Eccleston returned, Time of a Doctor wouldn't have happened, because the Doctor still would have had a regeneration left. Isn't that so weird?
Yeah.
That's so weird, isn't it?
Huh.
It's so, because then, Capaldi would be the
Huh.
Yeah.
No, that's true. That's true.
It's so weird, isn't it? But anyway,
it kind of would have been weird to see him as the War Doctor, though.
Chris Eccleston,
yeah,
he would have fit it, but
it would have been...
Moffat was right in his thing. Is like the Eighth Doctor just wouldn't have been in the war. Like, he's not just, he just wasn't. Though I loved his breakdown, but Night of the Doctor's another thing.
Yeah, we'll discuss these when we get to those episodes. So, I mean, we will soon.
In terms of fan service for the 50th, this episode had some pretty good moments,
but
the rest of it was bad season
It was
finale,
mostly pretty dribble.
Anyway.
It worked. It was better as a setup than it was an episode.
Three good points.
For visuals.
Yeah.
The visual design was pretty good. The general acting quality was good, especially with Matt Smith and like a lot of his moments, like very much all over the place emotions, but it really did fit for the episode and kind of how they were going for it. Like I guess we didn't mention this, but like when he's kind of feeling the pain of all the doctors, you do really feel like it's great. It's great stuff from Matt Smith. And I'd say the general like the whole Doctor's grave kind of concept about it being like all of his memories and stuff was really kind of cool. It was a cool idea, like having the time traveler kind of split off like that.
Yeah. How they leave a tear.
Yeah.
I'd say Matt Smith was definitely a massive highlight. The fan service, the beginning and ending scenes were pretty damn awesome to watch live, especially the first time you see it, and you're like, oh my god, O'Baker, oh my god, Peter Davison, oh my god. That was a really cool moment. And I'd say on paper, the idea was good. How it resolved the Clara thing, and I mean the villain's plan was pretty dastardly. It was a pretty good plan.
It's a good plan.
Points, that's pretty evil. But just executed not as well. Also, a massive waste of Richard Grant, was saying.
Definitely.
Bad points. So waste of Richard Grant for sure.
I wouldn't put that as like a point itself, like because there's so many other issues with it.
Okay. The really...
I'll let you go first.
Yeah, really, like, crowbarring and stuff like Souffle Girl and... Oh, run, you clever boy, and remember.
Yeah.
There was really weird crowbarring in, like, also the journey to the centre of the TARDIS.
You remember this from Clara? Hey, you remember Clara? Hey, you remember Clara? Yeah. And yet they still forgot the Oh My Stars.
Yeah, I know. Like, that would have been a perfect catchphrase. Like, they even set it up in freaking Rings of Akaten, and they didn't use it again. Like, seriously, that would have been such a great catchphrase for her. That would have caught on. Oh My Stars would have caught on as a fan thing. It would have, if they tried it. You can just see it catching on, and they wasted that moment.
They did.
And so they go. Yeah, where do I get the eggs? You missed that out, guys. You could have had that on shirts. All My Stars. You literally could have had that on shirts. That would have sold, man.
Yeah, it would have.
But so merchandising error. That's the second bad point. Second bad point. Whispermen. Completely. What the hell? It's so useless. I mean, Yeti would have done well, and at least would have been a bit more fan service.
Yes.
And they were big. They would have been able to grab them. You would have believed them being able to take down. Strax. Sontar and.
Yes.
I'd say for a bad point, not having the balls to kill Jenny. Like, come on.
Yeah.
If you want to add a threat, that would have been it.
Yeah.
That would have been dramatic.
Alright, so I agree on the Jenny point. They really should have. That was a big waste of potential and felt like really very much a cop-out, considering how they kind of built up earlier in the episode. And again, it shouldn't have made sense with the amount of time that they were all out cold.
Yeah.
Jenny should have died. I'd say the entire... Like, because the whole thing about the whole... Like, the plan was good for Richie going into the stream and such, but the whole... How to stop them, how it makes sense here and here and here, you know. It was messy. Like, they didn't really think it entirely through. How Clara was going to stop the Great Intelligence by doing that, and how it made sense. And actually, how in the end did she survive it when it was, I guess.
Where did she end up like this? Yeah, weird.
How does the Doctor stop her? Actually, how does the Doctor actually stop her?
I don't know.
How does he stop his own memories and stop her from...
Artistic license, I guess.
And, like, isn't this more of a mental battle than anything else? How does he physically stop her? Yeah.
Lots of holes.
Yeah. I mean, just in general,
Holy mole.
It's a big mess.
Okay,
Hang on,
so
I guess... Oh, what, sorry, that was second. Sorry, that was second.
Oh, right. Whoops. Sorry. Can't count.
Okay. And I'd say... It just didn't feel like a complete story. It really didn't.
I think it needed to
It didn't
be a
feel...
two-part.
Actually, it didn't even... Yeah, no, it didn't feel like a story outright. Like...
It was a prequel.
It was a collection of things, really. Like, this happened, this happened, this happened, and then this is going to happen. It didn't feel like a story. It just... A couple of events and a stinger. There wasn't really... I mean, there was a beginning, but, I mean, that's pretty much what the entire episode felt like. A beginning. Like, it didn't get to the middle of the end, really.
Yeah, I'd say that. Yeah,
it didn't.
Especially as it was the episode before the 50th. I mean, I think it needed to be something a bit more.
Yeah, I think they should have set things up a bit better, just in general. Like,
oh well, Moffat.
Yeah,
it's gone.
Well,
it's
soon.
done.
Well, it is now, I guess.
I mean, that series is done. Yeah, it's over. Okay, the nerdy. So obviously, we see the Doctors all the way through the past. The first Doctor was obviously taken from the Aztecs. Quite some good recoloring, actually, I must say. And they're very good at adding what is it? Yeah, that was very, very good. The second Doctor, obviously from the Five Doctors. Third Doctor from the Five Doctors again. Fourth Doctor from Invasion of Time. Fifth Doctor from Arc of Infinity. Seventh from Dragonfire. And stunt doubles were used for the 8th and the 6th Doctor. In the opening sequence, obviously a 9th Doctor, a 5th Doctor, a 10th and 4th Doctor were used also as stunt doubles for the ending scene. We also see Gallifrey again. I think this is the third time. Kind of third time, because I mean we see it. Did we see it in Gridlock when they talk about it? No, they only talk about it. No, we see it for the first time in Sound of Drums, and then End of Time, and the 2 times we'd seen it before this.
Yeah, that's this is the entire episode. Really, kind of makes an entire paradox. The Doctor wouldn't have gone to visited 21st century Clara if had not been for the other 2 Claras existing. But the other 2 Claras exist because he saw these other Claras and went to 21st century Clara to look her up. So technically, this creates a paradox. It doesn't because he needs that to happen in order for that to happen, but that wouldn't have happened if that didn't happen. So how does it happen in the first place?
Wait, say it more slowly.
So the Doctor meets 21st century Clara, the modern Clara, after seeing her in the previous 2 incarnations.
Yes.
Now, how does he meet those 2 incarnations in Clara in the first place if it hasn't happened?
Because it did happen.
But it did happen. But it happened after. He wouldn't have met the 21st century Clara if if the other 2 didn't happen.
Oh right, yeah, because there's no threat at all because we know that the day is saved.
No. I meant no. It was more. It wasn't so much that.
No, but Clara says it, doesn't she? She goes, "It's already happened. I've already saved you." She does say that just before she runs into it.
Doctor wouldn't have invited the current Clara to invite her had he not met the other 2. But she never would have travelled with the Doctor had they not happened.
Yeah, I see what you mean now. Yeah.
Yeah, I just picked up on that from here.
Yeah. So the Richard E. Grant thing kind of had that. Yeah, that is a bit of a paradox there. But yeah, apart from that, in the nerdy, the Great Intelligence mentions the cigarettes and Solomon, which is a bit of an odd one to mention the Daleks and Cybermen. Like, yeah, of course it doesn't show mercy to people who have no emotions. Frickin' hell. He also calls the Doctor would be known as the Valiard and the Beast and the Storm. That's kind of it. Okay, yeah, the reason why the Whispermen came in is because Stephen Moffat wanted a new monster. Because the reappearance of Ice Warriors, Cybermen and Daleks had already happened this season. That's it. That's the only reason why he wanted a new monster. Because merchandising. The idea of a Whisperman came from the thought of a stylish, whispering, almost faceless creature which seemed frightening and appropriate for the episode that looks forward and back. There was also the big leak where the Blu-ray box set of the second half of Season 7 was released early to Americans. And basically they got to see Nightmare in Silver early for them. We'd already seen it, but they got it early. And they got to see Name of a Doctor early. And it was 210, which is quite a big number, really. And if they kept it top secret, they would release a small video of David Tennant and Matt Smith talking about the 50th. And they did. So we got that video, which was very nice. And it was all well done, really. So well done. Round of applause for the Doctor Who fan base.
The default form of the TARDIS that we saw is actually similar but a bit different to one seen in for War Games. Actually, there is one kind of like that in the War Games. That, as it points out here, it potentially the ones in the War Games are more recent styling, so it still makes sense. Yeah,
because they're old Type 40s, and the other ones would be newer. That's cool. That is quite cool. Yeah, one cool thing. That's kind of it for nerdy. So
I'm not done. There's actually quite a lot here.
Holding my horses.
I'm just trying to find out what would be worth saying because there's a lot here. The original televised premiere of the episode ended with the message to be continued, November 23rd, as in...
Oh, my DVD had that one.
November 23rd, 2013. However, the DVD release of Series 7, which can be viewed from the scheduling conventions of television, this had this message simply shortened to be continued.
No, my one had November 23rd.
Yeah, no, I thought I did as well. Yeah.
I wonder if my... Because I have it twice, because they have it twice. Basically, they released it in that the 50th anniversary box set, which came with Name of the Doctor for some reason, The Day of the Doctor, and The Time of the Doctor, probably because they will have the Doctor in it. Yeah, that came in a box set. So maybe it's different in that one. I need to actually watch it on that disc. Because I don't think I ever have, actually, because I've been like, it's pretty pointless sending it twice, but I really wanted the box set, so... I wanted Day of the Doctor and Time of the Doctor in a box set, so they didn't kind of stand out horribly on the shelf as those single DVDs, because I had box set, and I didn't just want then suddenly two DVDs, because I'm picky like that. But yeah, that is... No, my one had the November bit, I know for a fact, because I looked at it and I was like, oh, that's good, because it told people when the 50th anniversary was.
I did in my Series 7 Part 2.
That's odd. Is that from the American release, then?
I don't know. No idea.
Interesting. Anyway, so, conclusion?
Conclusion.
Okay, yeah.
This episode, I don't, it's not great. It feels completely incomplete. It's like the opening of something when the opening is rather stale. You know, it's a lot of it just does not hit the mark. Like, you know, the acting quality is good, but so much of the plot is just, it falls to pieces when you try to pick it apart in any slight capacity. Like, you know, the plan by the villain was cool, But first off, his henchmen weren't very good, and secondly, the way he was defeated. Again, you question how he was stopped. It pretty much was just a Day of the Doctor prequel. It didn't feel like a series finale. It's perhaps, I'd say, amongst one of the worst series finales the series has ever seen in terms of being a series finale.
Yeah, since the new series, I think it's actually...
No, even in, like... I know, I mean, I guess we can't see through all the old episode series to compare, but, like... Generally, I think...
Invasion of Time is probably worse.
Yeah, no, Invasion of Time's worse. That is true. But, like, no, it stands amongst the worst, because, like, it really... I mean, it isn't really a story...
It's literally just a prequel.
It's a setup. It's a setup. It's well, whatever it is, you know, it isn't great. So ultimately, despite having it has a few standout things. This isn't a very like rock bottom or anything, but like it's hard really to recommend it on its own. If you want to just watch the episodes, just on its own, don't. Seriously, don't. Watch this in conjunction with Dare the Doctor, and perhaps you'll get
the
more
rest of the series. If you're watching all of Series 7 Part 2, it's worth watching.
Yeah, of course.
Because you learn the
well, I mean, if you're watching all of Series 7 Part 2,
yeah.
of course you're not going to skip it anyway. But no, I mean, it's just a bit of a mess, really. Ultimately, I find it gets 2 out of 10. Because it's just a bit of a mess. It doesn't really work on its own. It has its cool moments, in the opening and the last 5 minutes, perhaps. Though even then, like, there's so many issues with the last 5 minutes that it's just no. I mean, there's good parts to it, but ultimately, 2 out of 10. So I just have to cut in here, post like right at the end of editing now. But I've been reflecting on this score, and after having watched the episode again to get screen caps, I have to say that I didn't have as bad time, certainly as I had my initial times, watching this episode. I'm not saying it's good. I don't think it's a good story by any means. But I don't think I gave enough credit to a lot of other aspects of the story. It's very boring, don't get me wrong. But in terms of like directing, in terms of like the production qualities of it, in terms of the music, in terms of the acting, it's all genuinely high quality stuff, and like there are some legitimately interesting aspects of this story, even if a vast chunk of it doesn't work. So, after lots of thoughts about where I should place it, because it's like everything visual about the story and like the audio, as I said, is all fantastic. It's purely that story. It's just such a bad story. Just on its own, it just doesn't work. But I do feel that a 2 out of 10 was harsh on everything. I really do. So I'm gonna knock it up to a 3 now. Though, I actually almost considered giving it a 4, but then I just kind of thought back on like the whole thing. Just like, no, it's no redeeming a lot of what I watched, especially with how boring, how tedious, and how frustrating a lot of it was. But this is my current opinions on it. So yeah, on to Nick's opinions, I guess.
The Name of the Doctor is a weak story. Visually it's okay, a little dark if watching in a lit room, can make it hard to see. It works well as a setup for the 50th in my opinion, but not as a series finale. Considering this is Matt Smith's final, series finale, is it truly that epic? The idea on paper sounds decent, but the episode itself just doesn't sit quite right. With the biggest action scene happening early on in the TARDIS exploding, it sets up for this big end of the episode to try and top it off, but it doesn't in terms of action. Yeah, maybe the threat's good, but just in terms of action, they blew it pretty early on. And that set it up. I mean, we had the epic opening, the explosion, and then nothing else. That's it, except Clara falling through that whatever majig, which we saw at the beginning, so it was nothing new and exciting. Yeah. So it like blew its load pretty early, so to speak. The conclusion to Clara's mystery was, in my opinion, decent, and the cliffhanger with John Hurt was actually pretty excellent. I mean, especially for fans of the show, would be like definitely going to watch. Or even casual viewers might be like, whoa, the Doctor? Like, you know, a bit interesting.
But it's more exciting for its time.
But it was more exciting for the time. On rewatches, that goes. That disappears. Because if I want to see John Hurt, I'm going to watch Day of the Doctor. Because why watch anything else? You know, literally little point. I remember watching that the first time. And it was quite confusing and cool to watch it. And I think I'd like to see my kids' reaction if they eventually watch it, seeing what their reaction will be, because it'd be pretty. It was quite a big thing, really. The opening with Gallifrey was exciting start, but then it just lost the hype. It was like fan service now. We got to just try and fill in this 45 minutes, and I came up with this cool thing because I remember there were actually riots in the street about them not wanting to reveal the name of the Doctor. There was actually a riot. It's like, we don't want to know his name. He is Doctor... Like, there was this riot. It was a small one, but there was in London, yeah. But yeah, it was a really weird thing. I was like, yeah, they're not going to do it, though. No. I think it might have been a publicity stunt, actually, just to get people watching. But yeah, it's like they came up with the name, and they had to like build a story around it. The Tomb of the Doctor would have been a way better name, just saying.
Yes.
But anyway, yeah. It has its issues, and it does have a lot of some good points. I would say a lot. Like the river ending was pretty okay, but on hindsight now, it's kind of ruined by Husbands of River Song. Though I really like Husbands of River Song, so it kind of So on first watch, I probably 4 out of 10. But when we're doing it as more like rewatchability as well, so I give The Name of the Doctor a 3 out of 10. I do like the fan service. The ending is quite good. It makes you want to just go on to the 50th and find out more. But the middle kind of bit is just weak. Killing Jenny would have been a great way to have improved this episode. Originally Grant wasted. The paradox, the problems. Yeah, there's just it's got a lot of holes in it. And I mean, we're making holes pretty easily by just discussing it now, not having to think that much. No. Except the paradox, that's quite confusing. But
and it wasn't even my idea, to be honest.
Yeah, there's a lot of problems, and they shouldn't be that easy to find. They should be more harder to discover, at least. But
the issue is, again, Moffat doesn't have a script editor.
No, he is.
Like, throughout the entire Doctor Who's run, there's been like a Mahagan kind of head, and there's been a script editor who helps to balance things out. And for many years, this has worked wonderfully. And yet Moffat decides, no, I know best. I am the god of Doctor Who. You will obey me, and you will follow my rules. Despite the fact that, he doesn't know how to edit his own... I mean, you need a second opinion. To get really good stories, a lot of the time, you need a second opinion. And you need people to look over your script.
Like on Invasion, which was written by Peter Harness and Stephen Moffat, was pretty good.
Yes.
Because they worked together. But Wim by himself... And you can't critique your own work. I'm sorry, you can't effectively.
Moffat's best stories came from the Russell T Davies era, but he had people watching him and helping him. Like he had script editors to go to after he handed his story, to help fix these things, which he does not do now. It's like he's.
I mean, to be honest, this season's at least been part decent.
It's like he's been caught doing something.
But anyway, yes. So, what did you think of Name of the Doctor? Like, tell us below. What do you think we're being a bit harsh? Did you like it? I mean, it's perfectly fair enough. You liked it. You liked it. If you agree, tell us that you agree. It's nice to know that some people agree with us. But so subscribe.
Or not. Don't be a whisper man. Please, because they suck.
There you go. Yeah. Don't be a whisper man because they suck. So subscribe or not. So yeah,
he just follows orders.
Don't just follow orders.
Don't follow the great intelligence. That's usually a bad idea.
Be your own intelligence and click that subscribe button if you like it. So
be a average intelligence.
So we'll see you next week.
Or you can be a great intelligence.
Okay, yeah, but don't. if you are going to be a great intelligence, please like bring Yeti with you because it's just totally pointless if you're like.
They're chill guys, you know. They hang out in the party.
Yeah,
just bring
yeah.
Yeti with you. They bring the beers, you know.
Yeah.
They bring the.
They're awesome.
Yeah, they're cool guys. I mean, who wouldn't bring the Yeti?
Yeah. So yeah, thank you very much for listening. We might see you next week, or we might schedule off. So there you go. So thank you very much for listening. Boy.
What?
That's the end.